Hi, good people. Hope you've been well. And in this video, I want to have a conversation about a very controversial topic, I would call it, and answer a question that many people really ask me. So, if you're here for the first time, my name is Nelly, and on this channel, I speak about career and personal growth topics. So, this channel is here to make you a better person in terms of your job search by sharing with you job search tool, having workplace related conversations, and just helping you to position yourself to be able to get those jobs or attract those jobs that you really desire to have. So the topic I want to talk about today is on how long should you stay in a job before quitting. The reason I call this topic controversial is because there are a number and a lot of conflicting opinions about it. And in this video, I will share my opinion and probably share with you how long I think you should stay in a job before quitting. So there is an unwritten rule that you should stay in a job for at least 1 year, that is 12 months, before quitting. And that is a standard time, whether it is a miserable job or whether you land yourself in a job that you like. But again, there's also the question of how can you stay in a job that you don't like for 12 good months? And a job that you don't like is a job that you land into and realize that all along through the recruitment process you were deceived, or you deceived yourself by thinking that the job that you're being hired for is what you're looking for. So this can probably come if you report to a job and realize that the duties or the actual job you're doing is not aligned to the job description that you had interacted with previously or that you had seen at the point of advertising the job. So you get into that job and you realize that really this is not for me. And if I stay here, I am going to depress myself. And even apart from depressing myself, it is not going to align with my career goals. So again, looking at it that you're going to stay in a place that you're sure is not going to add value to your career for 12 months is not very easy and may really be a tough decision. So again, then how long do you stay in a job and what determines the period that you're going to stay in a job? So what will determine how long you're going to stay in a job is, of course, there are a number of things. And one of them, and one most important, being if the job is aligned to your career goals. If you're sure this job is going to help me to get where I want to get to in the next 12 months, in the next 1 year, or even going to help me to be able to land into my destination where you want to get to career wise. That's the number one reason that will help you to make a decision on whether or not you're going to stay in a job for long. Another thing that will help you make a decision on whether or not you're going to stay in a job, if the remuneration or the compensation, the package that has been given to you is something that satisfies your needs. Because again, also, we don't want to forget that the whole essence why you wake up to go to work every day is to be able to sustain you and meet your needs. So if this job is something that is going to meet the needs, the salary that this job is paying you, you comfortable that it is enough, then that will also influence if you're going to stay. Another reason that will also help you to decide whether you want to stay in the job is now just the summary of all this is if that job makes you comfortable. You're comfortable in the sense that the environment is favorable. That is now the company that you've landed yourself in. The culture is not toxic. The environment is favorable. You've gotten yourself with an amazing team. You've gotten yourself with an amazing manager. And you just feel holistically this job is satisfying you. Then for sure, you'll really have no reason to want to leave quickly. So those are the first things that will determine you settling in that job. So then, in the absence of these things that I've mentioned, or rather, in now the presence of the opposite of what I've talked about, instead of being a favorable environment, you land yourself in the hands of a toxic manager. You land yourself in an organization with a bad culture. you get yourself in a job that does not align, the things that you're doing are not even the things that you were told you'll be doing during the interview, the pay, you get to the organization and you feel a few months into the organization, you realize that money cannot even sustain you, then for sure by default, your mind begins to search. So if you get yourself to this point, so how long would you be able to stay, or how long do you think you should stay? Considering the fact that there's also the bit of job hopping, it paints an employee really badly and may affect your future job search journey. So if you leave a job so quickly, like maybe let's say 6 months or less than 12 months, rather, then an employer will look at you like a flight risk. And for an employer to hire you, especially if you're someone who's been changing jobs, for you to really be hired, then the skills or the value that you'll be bringing, that you must be able to convince the employer that the value and the skills that you'll be bringing to their job outweighs the thought of them losing you within the shortest time. Because you realize that employers would want to invest in employees that they know are going to give them value for a substantial amount of time. So to answer this question, in my thoughts, the standard 1 year is a good time, but I really believe that staying in a job long enough, and I'm going to give the period that I mean when I'm by saying long enough, staying in a job long enough does not also help you in building valuable skills that you can carry to the next job, but it also shows you as somebody who can be trusted, somebody who's loyal, and somebody who's serious about their professional growth. So this good time that I'm talking about is at least 2 years. And especially if you're still within the entry level or at least the lower management level, you need to stay in a job for at least 2 years before you think of moving into another job. So 2 years will really help in building your profile and position you better for the next job. 2 years is also enough time for you even to leave impact in that company, because again, also the reason you've been hired is to provide solution and to offer value to the employer. So 2 years will be a good time to even help you create a track record of the achievements that you'll want to mention in your next job. So if you're not in that category of maybe an entry level or a lower management level, so if you've gotten to the middle management, HOD, or and even a more executive position, then you may need to stay longer. The reason you may need to stay longer is that most organizations have a 5 year strategic plan. And if you're hired in a higher or in a top management position, they probably have hired you to help them deliver this strategy. So if you leave an organization within 12 months or 2 years, again, at that point, even the next employer may begin to question your leadership skills. What are you really looking for, especially at that high level of your career? So within the 5 years, as a leader or if you're in an executive position, you really will be able to help the employer deliver on that strategy and add a visible value that the employer will be able to recognize. So it depends with the level where you are. If it's a lower level, 2 years will be a good time because you also really want to move on and build on the next skill. If it's a higher level, then you may need to stay more than the 2 years, probably 4 to 5 years. All right, guys. So thank you for watching this video. I would also like to hear from you on how long do you think someone should stay in a job before leaving in the comment section below. Thank you.